nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody. We are live once again, back with the same old crew. I've got Giovanni, Alex, and Jen. You can't see her, but you can hear her. How's you guys' night going?
Going well. Thank you for asking.
Not
Better now.
bad, not bad.
How's your day going, Matt?
I'm dying inside, I'm pretty sure. I don't feel
Pretty
well.
sure. I'm unsure.
I've been playing a lot of Callisto Protocol, so I'm just waiting for like tentacles to pop out of me and I morph into my next phase. I feel like absolute fucking garbage. I feel like I got
Not
hit
good.
by a truck, and then that truck got hit by another truck into a house and burst it. Just for the spectacle. But we did a stream. We finished Batman today on the stream. Arkham Asylum went right into Arkham City because I've got no limits. Yeah. No cool. Oh, I'm sorry. How's you? So we are indeed reviewing two Christmas movies today. The first of which will be Lethal Weapon, which I know we did it. I don't give a fuck. We didn't do it with Giovanni, and Jen and I were just watching it because we're watching Christmas movies. And Lethal Weapon and Die Hard are always on the Christmas movie list when we do them over in December. So we watched Lethal Weapon, and I was just like, let's just fucking review this. So that's what we're doing. And then we, of course, have a new classic. I don't think it's a new classic as much as like 8-Bit Christmas is. But I will say this is a pretty damn good sequel. A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
A Christmas Story Christmas.
Mhm.
We'll be reviewing that one as well. Before that, what you guys been watching recently, other, obviously, than the reviewing of this stuff?
Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, I
Is
finished
it
that one.
Wednesday.
good? I've heard it's a show for teenage girls.
No, it's actually pretty good.
All right, cool. I know Tim Burton's
Actually pretty
behind it.
I will say, because have you ever watched the Monsters growing up, Matt? Or not Monsters, the Addams
Yeah, Addams
Family.
Family.
Yeah, I was oddly enough, despite being a child, technically of the '80s, but I mean '89. I watched the Munsters as well as Addams Family because we were fucking poor.
And I'm pretty sure you like the first two movies because
I do.
the first two
yeah.
movies are really good.
Yeah.
So for you may like it. The reason I like it is because we grew up on that.
Okay.
If we
Jen
knew
too.
about
Jen
the
loves
Addams
those
Family
movies.
but never seen them and watched it,
Mm.
I completely understand where you're coming from.
See,
Like that mentality would
people
be
took
like, oh, it's for
shit
teenage
for
girls.
Louis Gomez for being Gomez Adams. But when you look at the early like animated actual drawings of the Addams Family, he
That's
looks
what he looked like.
remarkably like Gomez. So
Oh yeah.
other than that, I don't know who they've cast as anybody. I just know that Luis Guzman is Gomez.
Catherine Zeta is
Is she really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, her vagina gives you cancer of the throat. I heard that from somebody. Oh yeah, Michael Douglas.
Somebody very close to the
her
vagina.
husband. He spread it everywhere. He's after he got throat cancer. He's like, well, you know me, I like to please, and she's like, "We're telling them my pussy is cancer."
They sound like Sofia Vergara.
Yeah,
instead
well,
of
they're the
Catherine
same.
Zeta.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is Sophie Vergara. You know what? Oddly enough, they're not even that far in age, because Vergara is like 47. Looks
She
great,
has,
but
a,
she's like
she has a
47.
real thick Spanish accent.
I
It's
feel
gotta
like
be
she
fake.
she is so annoying.
Probably.
I'm not saying it's totally fake. Like I'm sure she's got an accent.
The
But
Modern Family,
your day-to-day version of her is not the aye. She's
the
probably
Modern
got,
Family
you know.
version is exaggerated.
Yeah.
But she does have an accent
Well,
more than Catherine Zeta
what-
that I've heard in
per-
interviews.
Perfect example, Chef. She's got the accent, but it's much more of a real person talking and not a character. Because she's the wife or ex-wife and Chef.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, so
I
what you
still
guys
don't like her. She's annoying.
I don't I don't like her except in Chef. Now I do want to watch Modern Family. I've seen so many YouTube shorts of that fucking show, and every time
Me
I do, I'm
too.
like, I'm ready to watch it. And like, I think that should be Jen and I's next comedy to Powerhouse.
I've also heard nothing but good things.
It's
I've heard-
syndicated.
yeah.
Like a lot of here's the thing, like even if a show isn't your style, if it gets syndicated, odds are it's a fairly decent show. Like Big Bang Theory, I never really got into, but I never really gave it a good shot. But the odds are it's probably decent enough where I would just, as far as just like mindless sitcom entertainment, I probably would enjoy it.
They were only 30
You
minute
would get a
episodes
kick
too.
from.
Oh, it's not
Yeah,
that
yeah,
long?
that's true.
No.
Yeah.
I assumed that. How many seasons was that? I thought it was like 80.
I think they went 10 or 12.
And how many episodes a season of Big Bang?
23 or 24.
Yeah, 20 something.
Oh, how many? I thought. Wait, it was how many episodes did you say they had?
No, I
200?
said 30 minutes. Oh, yeah. There's, as far as episodes, I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Well, all right, so let's talk about that. Has anyone else started watching the Santa Claus show?
No.
Not yet. No,
It's
we're starting
32
this week.
minutes an episode. Why?
Wait, what?
It's only 32 minutes an episode. And it's only gonna be 8 fucking
What?
episodes. I get it, it's 4 hours long, but like
So just make a movie.
Yeah.
Or
it's
make
really
a part
stupid.
one, part two.
They shouldn't have made it a half hour long because, for one thing, this movie is or that series so far, we've only watched the first, is a weird, different direction for the character. Like it's a weird Rick and Morty vibe. What's up, Fabian? So we haven't gone deep into it, but like I was a little thrown off by the entire vibe of the fucking series so far. It's weird. I can't tell. Like I thought it was gonna be a kids show, and I accepted that. But then it's kind of a weird, just I don't know.
Do you think it's I felt, because I've heard a little bit about like the energy of it being off. I felt that they're probably just trying to end it, like end that arc, if you will,
Well,
because
I
they
mean-
could do this for years
Well,
with
but yeah,
other people.
That's the whole thing is he wants to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, I
that's
saw the
you
trailer.
know, yeah. So that's the whole concept. But like, literally, it starts off. He's doing his thing, and basically even he himself is starting to lose a little bit of faith in the magic. I think is what the first episode kind of boils down to, and that's where he wants to start like taking a way out. But then
Mhm.
when they show him going from traveling, delivering gifts, to getting back to the North Pole, it shoots you into the intro, which is a Rick and Morty style, trippy, interdimensional kind of intro. It's a little wild, and I just wasn't expecting it. I don't know what to expect from the show at this point, but we're watching it. We'll
I
be
watched-
reviewing those on the 23rd, you bastards.
I watched Ernest Saves Christmas the other day.
Oh, how was that?
Nice.
That was fun. I started paying more attention to the story. So I actually learned that the reason why he was looking for the new Santa was because there's only a certain time limit for each Santa. Once the people stop believing, the new Santa brings up that level again.
Oh, they do ask the question that people have been asking for years in the first episode. Was there another Mrs. Claus? Like,
Ooh.
his wife, Mrs. Claus, is having a bit of an existential kind of breakdown in her, like, life. And she asks him, like, what about the other Mrs. Claus? And he's like, huh? He's kind of got that, like, never thought about it before. So I do that's 100% pure fan service, which I think is
Okay.
kind of cool. That's just in the first episode. I gotta be honest with you. George Lopez is doing an episode of his new show, Lopez y Lopez, where him and his daughter star in it. And he's bringing back some of the old cast from his original Lopez show. I'm kind of excited for that episode because I'm old. I think you have to be old to be excited for that, right?
Is his
Gotta be
mother
honest
gonna
with
do
you.
that?
I
I
don't know.
don't think he's funny.
You know, he had that one stand-up, and I can't remember which one it was.
I know.
I
Yep.
got a pain on my chest.
Yep.
That entire fucking stand-up was just amazing. Much like,
It was gold.
in my opinion, Louis C.K.'s greatest stand-up is Shameless.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think every one of those great comedians has one just balls to the wall, you don't stop laughing specials. And Lopez has one. I think Dennis Leary, even though you could argue about him stealing material from Bill Hicks, but Dennis Leary's whatever the fucking not Locked and Loaded, it was I can't remember the actual title of it. But his special, he's got that one that solidified him as a great comedian because it was funny wall to wall.
It didn't have coffee and cigarettes in the title.
No, so
As much as that guy fucking drinks
Okay,
and smokes coffee.
So, but that's the thing is, I don't know why I can't remember the fucking special's name. But he does this special, and that's what skyrockets him to what stardom he got. And the special, he does jokes about how he loves red meat, and he smokes cigarettes, and all that macho machismo shit you come to expect from him, right? But then his next special, he does post getting sober. So, like, a lot of people say that special's shit because it was actually his material. and his first special was just heavily stolen from Bill Hicks. But I don't know, man, because, like, he co-wrote, like, every episode of Rescue Me, and that show's hilarious. So he's got to have some comedic knack. Like, I won't disagree. Bill Hicks and him both have, material about how much they love to smoke. And
Was it No Cure for Cancer?
yes, that is his most famous, and it is fucking excellent.
That was his first as well.
That's what shot it. That's the reason why he was cast in things like Judgment Night and Demolition Man and The Ref. He got all of those roles because he did No Cure for Cancer. Then Locked and Loaded came out, I think, in 97 or something, 96. He had a weird, like, almost lesbian butch haircut, and he was sober, and most of his jokes were about being on cocaine. And it's like, no shit, you were on cocaine. Have you met you? Like, you are cocaine. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I've been watching MTV's Laguna Beach. That's
my
a
God.
2005 throwback there.
Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
I know it's trashy and garbage TV, but yeah, it's been fun to watch.
I can't really
guess.
laugh at you, Jen. I watch Naked and Afraid. Like,
Tell me that you're white without telling me that you're white. I've been watching Laguna Beach.
So then this makes me even more of a white girl. So my reasoning behind watching Laguna Beach is because I want to watch The Hills again. For a while, I had been following Heidi Pratt on Snapchat and
you
social
shouldn't
media
admit
and
these
stuff.
things. I'm just gonna roast you for them later. Who the fuck
And-
follows Heidi Pratt?
A lot of people do, actually. Like, Spencer Pratt actually has a Discord server that so many people are a part of, and like
Stop
they're
it.
just it's insane. It's actually
I'm losing
disgusting
respect
how,
for
like,
you.
how obsessed like some
And you're
of
my
these
wife.
fans of them are. But so my whole reasoning for watching Laguna Beach is because I want to start watching The Hills again.
I can't believe
that's
you're
the
part of
trashy
Spencer
TV I've
Pratt's
been-
Discord.
Were they part of a show together, or is it reality show that they're together in?
Reality show.
It's reality, yeah.
Okay, and
It's always been
is
reality.
and the Laguna Beach and all that stuff, that's a TV show or reality?
And that's
Reality.
reality as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they
So
started
they
off there
started-
as young, chiseled 18-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's junior, senior year in high school. So the show actually started because of the popularity of the TV show The OC, and then MTV was like, well, hey, let's make a reality show about the OC, and
Hey,
the
can we get
actors
these
that
girls
live
hooked
there.
on heroin? It would be really nice and dramatic.
I never knew that it was a reality show. I thought it was a TV show.
I did for
Like-
the
like
longest time, and then
OC.
Jen was like, no, that's where Ryan Reynolds' wife came from, or whatever. I was like, oh, so it was reality.
Well, no. So like the
Where?
OC, that's an actual TV show, but Laguna
Yeah.
Beach.
No, but that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Laguna Beach.
Yeah, the OC we know
Yes.
is a TV show starring the handsome
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon.
But I did not know that Laguna Beach was actually a reality show. I thought it was a TV.
Yeah, I
thought it was,
mean,
like, written
it's
shit out.
MTV, so as much of a reality show that MTV puts out.
Jen, my friend says you have a great podcast. Fabian said.
Oh, thank you, Fabian.
Way
I'm
to
gonna
be a
quiet
creeper.
The
No, I'm
rest.
joking.
You're right. I'm gonna
Thank
be
you,
quiet the
Fabian's
rest of
friend.
the episode now.
Right? Which friend, huh? Give me his number.
Since we're
her
talking about
number.
Pratt, and I keep hearing Pratt,
Chris Pratt.
Pratt Daddy.
Super Mario Brothers looks amazing, but every time I hear his voice, that movie just.
What does
You
it
just
matter?
killed Matt.
you know what? I'm just so fucking tired of hearing it. People need a fucking greasy wop is what they need to be fucking Mario. They need Joey fucking Diaz to be Mario in the movie before they're happy.
would be
Are you fucking
amazing.
kidding me? Joey Diaz is a Puerto Rican. He's not even Italian.
But it still would be funny.
It would be great if Mario's like, let's get some fucking mushrooms. Gonna get high as fuck, Luigi.
Oh my god.
Luigi's just Charlie, like, I don't know, man. He's like, I'm fucking war. He's just smashing him. I'd watch
watch
that.
that version.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Speaking of Mario
Be fucking
Brothers,
doing shrooms myself while
Luigi, you
watching
see
that
thing in the
shit.
shadows? You see this thing in the shadows? It's coming for us.
right? Oh shit! Fucking
What the
Bowser!
fuck is that?
Hey Bowser, how big's your dick?
That's where Wario came from. It was him fucking tripping on shrooms.
Wario is Joey Diaz. It's a female friend, so it's not creepy. I followed her friend, so she's watching. Oh,
That sounds creepy. That he
yeah,
followed
that
his
sounds
friend.
I'm,
Is
stop
that why you
following
slowed down?
people. I hope you
That
mean
got
in the
heavy
social
real
media
quick.
sense, and it's
That's
not.
why
I
you
followed
slowed
her
down while you're
home.
reading it. You're like, that sounds creepy.
She's watching it. I'm watching it with her through her window.
Fabian, was that your streamer friend?
Streamer friend, eh? Well, welcome.
Well, you don't say, eh?
Hey, Lethal.
Yeah, before we
Oh,
sorry, I was just gonna say before we jump in, if you guys are enjoying the show so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Nerdattude Entertainment YouTube channel.
yeah, I'll be releasing a new drum video when I fucking get to it soon.
It's coming. Don't
Soon.
worry.
I got to do one for Christmas.
As soon as the current video gets to 1,000, we'll get a new one out.
So by this weekend, I need a new one out.
Yes.
It's
You
climbing.
better get moving.
She's the friend of a friend that I gallowed. Okay, well, be careful when you gallow. But please do like and subscribe if you guys already are not, as well as a Twitch channel if you happen to enjoy Twitch streams. I do gaming streams. We used to do this on there, but then we start getting risque. Not in real life. By the way, I am in an argument with Universal Pictures right now because they have copyright hit two videos, the BJ Novak movie trailer and then Violent Night trailer. And then they just denied my dispute, which is it's a fair use video. We're literally making commentary.
Yeah.
So
oh,
I pulled the
God.
videos, and I then was just a cunt to them in the disputing them. I told them, this is the second video you've done this to me on. It's bullshit. I go, this is how I'm going to handle this. I'm going to pull my videos. If I don't see that you've released the claim, I'm not only never going to review another Universal Pictures movie on my podcast, but I'm never going to go watch another Universal Pictures at all. I go, you are the only greedy company that does this. Every other, even the ones that do copyright hit
For
me
a trailer?
for 24 fucking seconds, and then they tried to take a minute and something of the other video I pulled, when all that was like 20 seconds of their trailer. So they were getting even fucking more goofy on that one. So we're just not going to review Universal Pictures movies. In fact, what we're going to do is every time one comes out, we're going to not review it, and we're just going to shit all over it, even if we like it. Because fuck them. Greedy pigs. You know, and
We're just going to show a picture of a pig with a dildo in its ass. It's going to say Universal on it.
With the tattoo on the side
I
saying
love how Matt was
Universal?
like, yes, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was with you to a certain point.
Universal's gonna strike this one, and then you're gonna be like, "We're not reviewing any fucking
Yeah.
Universal movies."
I think if they strike this one, I'm just going to email them a picture of my scrotum and say,
Matt's gonna get a
there's your
letter.
dispute.
It was like, we're going to take that 20 seconds you talked about our newest movie, Pig Dildo Ass. I don't know how you got the information, but we're seeking legal action.
Right?
what?
Like, I'm just going to, what if I just in like Photoshop made a fake fucking cease and desist and sent it to them? It is, like somebody in their fucking mail
Stop
department's
looking
like,
at
who the fuck is Nerdattude and why is he suing us? What the fuck? It's not even like through a lawyer. It's like literally like I just make up like a J&J fucking attorney at law. And they're like, who the fuck are E and J? And it's like, and jerk. Just get real dumb with it. All right. First movie we are reviewing. These aren't going to be super long reviews, guys. First one's easy. Everyone at this point should be able to tag along, and if you love this movie like we do, and you honor it as a Christmas movie, it is Lethal Weapon. This
before
release.
anybody says anything,
Uh-oh.
Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Same way Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and
Yes.
it's because, oh my God, what's his name? Riggs, right? No,
Gibson?
is it Riggs? No, that's right.
Mel Gibson is Martin Riggs.
Yeah, Martin
Yeah,
Riggs.
Riggs. He is lost in this movie, and through friends, family, and what Christmas is all about, he finds himself and finds out that he can continue his life as an officer and do the right thing.
Through a
going
Christmas
forward.
I
miracle.
feel like you didn't have a theory before 20 seconds ago.
Man,
You're
you
just
were
No, no,
really
no.
reaching
pulling this out
there.
of your
No, no.
asshole right now.
Fuck.
Every Christmas movie you watch, there's always one lost individual, an individual they find that brings them around, and then through the love that other individual shows them, they turn around. It happens in every fucking Christmas movie.
Wait, are you? So who's the lost one in Die Hard?
Die Hard, it's
Bruce Willis.
yeah, Bruce Willis.
See, no.
And Pal
It-
brings him around.
But yeah, no. That's the thing is, by your own theory, the lost one in Die Hard would have to be his wife, Miss Holly Gennaro. And through his love of murdering all these Germans to get back to her, that brings them together, and she realizes family. He does get the same lesson that family is important because he's willing to murder all those Germans for her.
He's
And really,
willing
like,
to murder.
he's not killing all those Germans to save her co-workers. Like, he's murdering all these fucking swine to get back to her, so she would have to be the lost one. She changed her name. She's in a different city.
Okay, yeah, okay, so I see that. Yeah, she is the lost one.
Also, if she's not the lost one, there's nobody that shows McClane any love in this movie. Like, he literally
No,
has
the,
to kill everybody to get to her before she's happy to see him. And
Doesn't,
the limo
what's his
driver,
face?
you talking
No,
about
not the
Pal?
limo driver.
The police officer,
um,
Pal.
Oh,
Yeah,
Pal?
Pal.
But Pal doesn't convince him family is everything. Pal is like,
But
he's
he
like the elf
understands
on
him
the
as a
shelf.
cop.
Yeah.
He understands what he goes through.
Which is
He
always,
connects with him on that level.
if I would have been in charge of Die Hard 4 would have had me getting back to Pal.
Oh my god, I would have loved to seen him
Like,
more of him.
like, don't get me wrong, I like Die Hard 4, as fucking ridiculous as that movie is. I enjoy it. But wouldn't it have been cool if, like, the story centered around Powell, and McClane is coming to save him or rescue him? You know what I mean? Like, something, whatever. Powell gets in trouble. He was part of an undercover because he made detective, and he's close to retirement. He's got whatever, you know, he does the fucking Sergeant Murtaugh storyline, gets in deep, and McClane's got to come in to save him. Lots of old jokes about being old. I mean, it wrote it fucking self, and they didn't do it. Twinkies somehow fit in there.
Pal could have reached out to him, knowing that Pal could have, like, oh, I'm in deep in something,
right?
And he could have reached out to him.
Or
So that's
you
like
know,
that's that Eddie Murphy story.
but here's the thing is, Hollywood wouldn't give you the happy version. It'd be like, oh, he gets the message, and then next thing you know, he's visiting Paula's body at the morgue.
Yeah, Pal would be dead.
You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Which is, I don't want that. I want to see and this is why I say it. Die Hard 3 is the best Die Hard movie.
Oh, it is.
You get the buddy cop element with him and Sam Jackson. It's incredibly well written. It's really violent. Lots of awesome action. Die Hard 1 is a classic. But John McTiernan Die Hard 3 is the best Die Hard.
It is.
Back to not Die Hard. Lethal Weapon. Now, you were talking about like character and story elements, and I'm just going to break it down to this, right? The whole Die Hard takes place at a Christmas party. Christmas movie. Lethal Weapon literally uses Christmas decorations throughout the movie. One of the biggest scenes is when they kidnap his daughter and Riggs and Murtaugh are in the living room, and the glow of the Christmas tree and the lights is the only lighting in the scene as they talk about, we gotta go in bloody on this one and we got a fucking clean house. Lethal Weapon is unequivocally a Christmas movie.
He even leaves him a note saying nothing but us good guys here.
Mm-hmm.
When he says, "Dear bad guys."
Now, Lethal Weapon does have shit that doesn't make sense unless it's in an 80s action movie. Like, no police force would come across an officer jujitsu fighting another mercenary and just have him go, it's my responsibility, let it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. As soon as Gary Busey got the upper hand, one of those officers would have dropped his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been like, don't shoot, pup.
Not only that,
Bring him
when
in.
when they're right after he just got being tortured, he was running out of the thing, and he's coming back with the machine gun in his hand. He goes, I'm a cop.
No,
they would have
no.
tackled his ass or shot his ass while he was running.
Especially holding
the
that
people.
big of a gun.
Yeah, up in the air.
We have talked about my favorite part of that whole scene, and it's when Riggs gets loose, and he wipes out the room of dudes that are torturing him, or torturing Murtaugh, and as he does it, he's who's fucking next? And then, but there's another cool part when they're escaping and they go into the nightclub, and Riggs is man in the front. He's leading, and there is a scene where split second, the first guy he shoots, he does like kind of like pop done, but then as he's moving through the crowd, there's a hesitation for the one where the guy comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, you are a bad guy," pop, and then right through the chest. Like that whole nightclub scene. You can't tell me that didn't at least take in part in inspiration for John Wick. Collateral was another one of those movies.
That hesitation was a filming error.
No, I think the hesitation was him calculating going enemy or not.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Like,
that makes more sense.
When he's dressed like the Patriot as he's going through that fucking thing because he's got the shirt open. He's got the strap.
He just needs the flagpole with the spear on it. Dude, The Patriot's such a good fucking movie. Now I want to watch that movie again. Historically inaccurate. I think when we reviewed it, as we found out the real guy Mel Gibson played as was basically just a rapist piece of shit.
Yes.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But he was French. French suck. Like, not really, but anyway. Jen, what do you think of Lethal Weapon? I know Jen enjoys this movie. It is yet another movie that I had to open her eyes to.
It's a good movie. It is your basic, 80s buddy cop.
No, it is not your basic. It is one of the originators. That's the difference.
Okay.
48 Hours, then Lethal Weapon. That's the buddy cop originator. Midnight Run as well.
Thank you for correcting me.
It needs to be done. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's a great buddy cop comedy. And like Giovanni had pointed out, it does pull at your heartstrings seeing, Riggs go from having a loaded weapon in his mouth to finding comfort and peace.
I'm just thinking about the movie, and I'm thinking about the scene where between him and Roger, where he's like, he's just like, yeah, how about I'll put it under here, yeah. And Roger realizes it, and then he's like, he goes from crazy to like, I'm hungry, and then walks away.
I do. What I love about that transition is that even when you get to the second Lethal Weapon, he's still not doing it right. He's trying.
Yeah, but he's getting better. The dog biscuits because he's trying to quit smoking. Also, he's got so many great one-liners. Like when Roger's like, "Well, we're both fucked." He's like, "God hates me," and he's like, "Hate him back. It works for me." Just these dark fucking lines that Rig. Like, don't get me wrong. One of the first major scenes, you see him wake up and he's naked, but then there's a scene where he's putting a gun in his mouth. And he's got the hollow point marked off. I will say, Riggs's characters in the sequel is much lighter. Like it's the first one was heavier, and then the sequels get heavier in different ways. Like I'm thinking, number 2 gets heavy, especially when they kill the South African woman he's seeing. That's part of it. That's sort of heavy, and then number 3, I believe, it might be number 2 is where they get into a shootout with one of the local kids, and he ends up wasting him because he had a machine pistol. But then you also got Joe Pesci and everything in those too, though, which just
his Riggs's character's transition makes sense, though. At least it makes sense, because he's starting to feel the love from the family. He's being brought in. Well, like a brother, and an uncle. They
tie him up really well, even in number 4, because even at the end of number 4, he's with Rene Russo. She's pregnant. She's having a baby, and at the end of number 4, he revisits his wife's grave. And he's basically, it's his closure of like, I'm going to let you go now because like our love is, like I'll always love you, but I have people here with me to take care of. So like,
doesn't it come out that she was actually pregnant too as well? That they just never made a grave for the baby?
I think they talk about it in number 2 because it was like a car accident, wasn't it?
Something like that.
And I think they do talk about her like an ultrasound or some shit at some point.
So
sorry, go on.
Who was the writers of this? All of them, but it got rewritten. Was it Shane Black?
Shane Black and McTiernan, I think, worked on it.
So is Shane Black the one that did the original thing for this?
Yeah, you got to remember Shane Black also wrote, at least co-wrote Predator too.
Because they were saying, I was reading something that it was so dark, the first one, that they had to call in a new writer to change some of the things because there was a part where they were going after some serial killer that was sniping children.
Oh,
and
jeez.
there's supposed to be a spot where they're bringing out a
That
girl
would have
with
been a
child.
weird tone for this type of movie.
That's
Yeah.
kind of rough, yeah.
And they said in the second one that Riggs actually is dead at the end of the
Oh,
second
no,
one.
thank you.
So they
Although-
had to rewrite all that.
The second one does get pretty rough. Like I
Mhm.
believe the end of the second one, he has yet another fist fight, to which they drop a storage crate on the bad guy, right?
Isn't it?
Doesn't he Patrick Swayze his throat out too?
So I thought something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like all four of them are violent. The fourth one needs to be given credit. It's Jet Li's first American movie.
So all the violence throughout those 4 movies, that's all from Shane Black. They just had to like find ways to get the dark shit out.
I don't know if he wrote all of them though. Like I know he was like Shane Black, and this is why Shane Black's Predator was so disappointing. Is like you build it up to where it's like, dude, one of the original writers, Shane Black. In the modern era, people would most know his work as Iron Man 3, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
So all 5 Lethal Weapons he's a part of.
Really,
Yeah.
even the newest one that's not even made yet.
It's in production.
Speaking of which, I know this is a tangent. Lewis was sending this to us. Lewis, unfortunately, his household got COVID, guys. He was going to be with us. He'll be out next week, and then hopefully he'll be back. If everybody's healed up in the household, he'll be back the 23rd to review Santa Claus with us. Next week, we got to figure out what we are doing sooner than we were planning, because we were going to have a week of like, what the fuck should we do? That's now next week, so we're going to get that figured out too. I really like Shane Black, but I did not like that Predator. He literally wrote and directed, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that one was
That was the
That
one
one
where
was
the guy
rough.
from This Is Us was saying fuck a lot for no reason.
yeah, it's
that's
like
that's the most memorable scene. And not only that, but like group of soldiers get wiped out, made fun of. They're just a big joke. Olivia
Well,
Munn,
the
the scientist, is the heroine. Get the fuck out.
the shit in that movie I felt like was put there just because like, oh, it's the times and we're trying to get a modern reaction out of you and look what we're doing. And I'm like, no, and it was super like you could see that as you're watching the movie.
I'm gonna say I did like Prey.
Prey was good.
It has not scratched my itch for what I want in a Predator movie.
Which I can see. Prey.
It was good. Great.
I feel that
It's
Prey
the best
wasn't
Predator we've had for a long
movie.
time. No, well,
I feel because Prey was more about the
Her
people with
and
the
the people,
Predator
yeah. I will say the actual Predator scenes you get were really good. See, I think personally, people disagree with me. Predators is the ultimate Predator sequel after number 2.
I don't remember that one as
So
well.
if you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch, and it's literally back to basics. They drop these like 8 prisoners of very different whatever on this planet, and then the Predators hunt them.
I remember that one. Yeah, that one's back to formula.
Yeah, and people didn't like that though. It got shit on because it had Adrian Brody in it, and it was back to formula. And I thought that I love Predator 2 as well. In fact, in some ways, I like Predator 2 more than number 1, just because Predator 2 was a lot more violent. It was RoboCop level of violent compared to Predator 1, which was gory, but Predator 2 had, Predator 1 had the, oh my god, those are bodies hanging. And then Predator 2 had, they walk into the fucking building and there's 10 of them hanging completely skinned, and you know what I mean? Like, it was a different level.
That was a Danny Glover one, right?
Yeah, that was the one where Gary Busey gets cut in half by the awesome blade thing he shoots out at him. Like, it was a different, and then like, I remember watching it on TV always being angry because it would cut you like, so in the scene, Predator shoots out that blade, cuts a bunch of them in half, and you see the legs fall and just like bloop, a bunch of blood drops from below them, and the TV version edited all the blood out. So you would just you would just see the blade, and then it would cut through, and then it would just go to like them dead on the ground, and it was like, what the fuck?
It was so weird. But that movie also the undertones of like the supernatural gang really fed into Predators
or the Haitian
like concept. Like it's a creature, we don't know what the fuck it is. Like it just everything worked in that
supernatural
movie.
gang?
Well, he was because it was like the voodoo gang leader who
gang.
did the chicken bones, and he was like basically like the most memorable scene from that is he does his little fucking ritual, and then pulls out his sword, and he's just like, "Come at me, man!" and the Predator just eats him alive, like just fucking nothing.
He destroys him.
But oddly enough, Steven Seagal, his in my opinion greatest movie, also deals with like Jamaican voodoo gangs, which is It's either Out for Just. I think it's Out for Justice. I think it's his second movie. And there's the one scene where they're in like a shopping mall, and he's just bitch slapping these dudes into like glass fucking displays. And like the one I remember, it's one of those things where the one guy goes to hit him, and it's where his arm goes to rubber, and he like and you hear the fake snap and him scream.
Yeah.
Like one of the best. That's one of the best Seagal movies. It's just so brutally fucking violent in the fight scenes, and like I don't know, man. It's weird to me, and that's also what is in my memory from my childhood is like those two movies are related because the villains were both are like violent 90s/80s movies related to the Jamaican Haitian gangs, and it's just a weird coincidence, maybe. But I love them for the same reasons, I think.
Well, it worked because like the cops didn't know what that shit was. They were like, it's weird, and the superstition kicked in. Like, yeah, it was really well done.
Also, I don't know what the gang culture in LA was like in the 90s in certain areas either. Maybe there was areas of LA that had that too. Who knows? If it was tapping into like real world shit. So one of the things
None of that's in Lethal Weapon.
No, but watch everything we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. Sure. We just can't articulate it very well. One of the things I paid attention to this time that I never really did was him and his fucking pre-cell phone.
Yeah.
On the side of the road. Like, what the fuck? Like, and it's like he's making a distress call too.
And it's also a weird setup because you have to turn the handle sideways to see the screen, and then the numbers are on there sideways. And then you put it to your head.
It was like the next generation of World War II military phone.
All that was missing was them cranking it up to get the fucking better signal.
Exactly, like some pump in there or something. I love this movie. I think if you haven't seen Lethal Weapon, it really is kind of one of the OG buddy movies. Like I said, 48 Hours, I think, really kind of started it. And then you had movies in between Lethal Weapon. You had like Midnight Run is a great buddy cop type movie. Of course, the Lethal Weapon sequels, but it spawned a whole genre. Anytime you watch a buddy sort of movie, not even buddy cop, anytime you watch a movie that's got two main characters that are kind of opposites but must work together, that formula is essentially built up of Lethal Weapon and those style buddy cop movies.
Also,
but I will feel this one does it the best though.
Also,
the energy between Riggs and Murtaugh were just
the chemistry is awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect.
They were big on product placement with the Coors beer in this one.
Oh God! Yes. I mean, but that's okay. So for some reason, people only started paying attention to that when. Do you remember when iRobot came out, and people ripped it apart because it had like Pepsi and ads and everything, and it's like. That's been for years. Every time anytime a kid is playing an Xbox in a movie, product placement. And, look at Transformers. Literally, Mountain Dew machines turned into Transformers.
I don't think it was as bad though. Like in Lethal Weapon, the Coors was pretty bad.
Well, I mean,
Transformers was the Mountain Dew.
Well, yeah, Lethal Weapon is also not fake either. Like I believe that they would drink Coors. Like there's nothing on it's. You know what I mean? It's just like. You wouldn't pay attention to it at all if they just turned it so you only saw the label and not the name. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't even think twice about it. It's just, I mean, also to me, that is probably the smallest thing you can do as far as getting extra funding from other advertising is be like, all right, you can be the beer that they drink. Like that's not a big deal to me. Because they're going to be, nowadays it's not even that. It's like they're drinking Starbucks in a TV show. Or they go to a Starbucks, or they go to a Target. Look at fucking Hocus Pocus Dose. Fucking they go to Walgreens.
Or a Starbucks cup gets left in fucking Game of Thrones.
Dude, how fucking stupid as an actor do you have to be? So, okay, so I'm Khaleesi.
Not only that, can you imagine when they started filming? I know one of those fuckers on set saw the cup.
Hold on.
And
that's all she does.
Or they go, this is not in shot, right? And the one person that has nothing to do with it goes, no, you're good. So she's like, okay, I believe you.
Yeah, not only that, but how is so you got beyond everybody who's there filming fucking it up? How do you not have the dude in post who's made dragons and the giant ice wall come to life? there's not one motherfucker out of the dozens that worked on those shows that was like, was that a Starbucks cup? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me. Yep, that's a Starbucks cup. I'm gonna get rid of that. Like, where was that guy? Like, fans noticed it right away.
But also they have assistants that their job is to fucking take their shit away from them when it's time
What
to
are
go.
you doing? Like, I'm sorry, but what are you doing to think that's okay? Like, it's literally, I believe that scene was one of the finale episode where they're congregating to decide who the fuck is going to be king, and you got a fucking Starbucks cup in the shot. That's the actor's fault, too. It's the actor's fault. It's the director of cinematography who didn't go, move the fucking Starbucks cup. And then it's also the CGI dude who didn't catch it and remove it. There's just levels of incompetence on a $50 million at that point, $50 to $80 million a season. They left a fucking Starbucks cup in the series finale.
Is there anything else that you noticed with Lethal Weapon too? Like that was similar to that? Like the car crash when he fucking shoots the guy in the alley, Murtaugh, and he gets hit by the bus, and then the grenades all explode.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that everybody was covered in fucking heroin?
Yes.
All the people around.
Not only that, but grenades don't explode that way.
But they're all fucking covered in heroin and shit. It was just like, okay, they're all fucking high.
What I was thinking watching that is like, A, he must be having a real good fucking trip right now. But B, like, it must have been really uncomfortable to film that scene. Like, he had the fucking headrest in his fucking throat. Like, as an actor, that must have been frustrating.
Mm.
Also, they go to the range. I always used to think that scene was to show how good Riggs was. No. It's to show Roger's quick shot. Because it literally comes up at the end when he's playing chicken with the car. That scene is, they highlight Riggs, but that scene is really about showing off Roger's skill. It's a weird dynamic.
That last shot, that last quick shot scene would have made no sense.
Yeah, without
they
the
didn't
practicing.
go to the range.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all a foreshadowing.
All set up.
Yeah. Ridiculous, I know, but so the one scene Jen and I laughing was he literally talks shit to his daughter about getting high in the house because grass is legal or is illegal and beer is legal. And they're like, and that's the law. And then Rings is like, all right, I'm gonna drive home drunk. Like, they literally rip her apart. They talk shit to her, and that's legal. And he's like, all right, and I'm gonna go drive home drunk. Like, he's clearly drunk, and he's got the beer is still in his hand as he's going into his truck.
Because before they went out there, they were actually drinking whiskey inside too.
Fucking piece of shit cops, bro. Corrupt as you can be, and they're the good guys. They're over here like, she smoked grass in the house, dude. She's grounded for forever. And Riggs is like, yeah, well, Riggs was okay with it, right? But where was Roger going like, hey, man, you're not driving, right? Riggs is like,
no, not at all.
I'm going straight to the beach. I'll be all right. Like, what the fuck?
If I miss, I got the water in front of me. Don't worry about it.
Also, in Lethal Weapon 2, they shoot up his trailer. Did you guys ever see the movie Loaded Weapon?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I've seen it.
They have a scene where they shoot up Emilio Estevez's trailer, and then out comes Bruce Willis with a white flag.
Oh my god!
And he's like,
yeah.
wrong home, man. I just don't know why I just thought about that. Loaded Weapon's a dumb fucking movie, but it's funny, but dumb. Jen.
Yes.
Hot dogs out of 5. Nothing special. These are all beef Vienna hot dogs.
Hollow tip.
But there's one ingredient you absolutely have to use, and it's relish. But it's not pickle relish. It's fruitcake relish.
Oh.
That has to go on top. So how many of these delicious fruitcake relish hot dogs would you go with? Do you get all the Chicago fixins plus fruitcake relish dyed purple?
Why fruitcake?
Because it's Christmas time. That's why.
I hate fruitcake. It's so disgusting.
You're gonna love it on this hot dog.
This movie was really good. I do really enjoy it, and I do enjoy watching it, randomly. I am gonna give it a 4. A few of the like one-liners and parts that I really enjoyed in this movie when they were talking to Dixie when the daughter first, you know, jumped or whatever. And Murtaugh is telling her like, yeah, whatever, all dressed up and no one to blow. That one was one of my favorite
He's a cop,
one-liners.
and he's just fucking picking on hookers.
He's trolling on prostitutes, yeah. Lady of the Nights, excuse me. And then when
you
they're
can call
talking
prostitutes, hooers, hookers, whatever you like.
and then when they pull up to Dixie's house later on, and you know, the kids are outside and they're like, "Are you gonna buzz Dixie?" And then they start chanting, "You're gonna buzz Dixie, they're gonna buzz Dixie." That little interaction with the kids is pretty funny. And there was a scene where they had literally like they had just eaten, well, at least Riggs had just eaten. He was eating a hot dog, and then they went to go and make a bust. And then immediately after he, you know, was done being thrown through, you know, a business window or whatever, and they ended that scene. He's like, "I'm hungry. Let's go get some food." It's like I think I even pointed out to you, Matt. I was like, "He just ate a hot dog. Like, what the hell? How is he hungry again?"
Well, he's got a high metabolism.
Well, yeah.
One of my favorite Riggs things though is when the guy's the jumper, and he looks at him. He's like, "Do you really want to jump? Do ya?" Like he just gives him that fucking like in his face, like, and the dude's like, "Come on, man, get away from me."
He's like, "You're fucking crazy, man. You're crazy."
That scene that Jen was talking about with the hot dogs, when you see them getting in the car, there's a car driving by with tourists, and they look at them and they're staring dead at the camera.
Yeah. And not to be racist, but it was the Asian family in the car, right?
Yeah.
I noticed that too, and I was like, "Oh shit, they're looking at him filming. That's awesome." That would have been me too. Like, huh? No way. Is that Mel Gibson? I loved him in Mad Max. I don't know what Danny Glover was in before Lethal Weapons. Couldn't name anything.
KG
What's
has
up,
joined the
KG? How
chat.
you doing? Good evening. I give it a 5 for obvious reasons. Both nostalgia reasons. It's just because it's an awesome movie, and it really is one of the originators of the buddy movie formula that you see in so many movies. I mean, without Lethal Weapon, you don't have Hobbs and Shaw. Without Lethal Weapon, you don't have Red Notice. Without Lethal Weapon, you don't have Midnight Run. Without, you know what I mean? Like, the list goes on. Without Lethal Weapon, you potentially don't have the other guys, because then they don't have a genre to spoof. You know what I mean? Like, it really is the foundation for a lot of what people find entertaining. So, yeah, easy 5 for me.
I'll go real quick too. It was a 5 for me as well. I think I did that. We all did 5s last time too, though.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But nothing has changed. I did notice a little more different things, like I said, with
I do
car.
too, like every now, and I'm waiting until they start releasing 4K transfers to see what other little details are hidden.
Yeah.
In all of them. I don't know why they don't have a 4K transfer for any. I'm waiting.
But the movie still holds up. It's still good. Even back in the 80s, everything still could be, manipulated to be like from this time era too. And there's not much that you have to do to change it.
Yeah, the only real dating
Except
thing
for
is
the
that
phone.
goddamn
Phone.
that fucking phone, man. Everything else
But
is
other
like
than
it's
that-
modest suburban house. He's
Yeah.
got a boat, like nothing in the house look
Well, it's not a brand
antiquated
new boat
really.
either. He bought a shitty boat to fix up.
But he didn't know how to turn the fucking thing on. Like Riggs comes in, he powers it up and spooks him.
But yeah, it's a 5 for me.
This is also a 5 for me as well. For the movie of its time, comedy still holds up. The interaction is between them is still funny. The action's great through the movie, and Mel Gibson's one-liners are classic. And this one, you can't get away from it.
Well, also to your earlier point, if you want to look deeper into this movie, you will find a movie about a man who's on the brink of killing himself every day because of the grief he has from losing his wife, and as they go into it later in the sequel, I think maybe potentially his pregnant wife. And every day he finds a reason not to. And you have that really cheesy line in there, "The job, man, because of the job," which I always find cringe. But Giovanni's right. He really does kind of, he it's even illustrated in the movie when he gives Roger the hollow point at the end of it. Basically, he's telling Roger, like, "You saved my life. Like, this is yours now. This round had a very evil, nasty intent behind it. It was only going to be used for one purpose, and it no longer has a purpose because you've given me friendship and family. That
And
really is a message in this movie.
And he's also cursed with fucking bad food because Roger's wife can't cook.
Dude, I don't know what that's like because I know your wife knows how to cook. Giovanni, I presume yours knows how to cook.
Oh yeah.
My wife Jen knows how to cook. So like, I've always as a kid, throughout like TGIF TV shows, even those, the mother never knew how to cook. There was always a joke about the mother's like Home Improvement. They were always ripping on her about her cooking, and it's like. I had that as a kid because my mom was a terrible cook, but the wife being a shitty cook thing, never had to experience that. Luckily me. Like I've never had, I don't think Jen's ever made anything where I was like, yes, yeah, no, it's great, sweetie. Like, I've never had that fucking problem. All right, next movie up, which I'm gonna certify this as, well, I don't know if I would watch it every Christmas. I think I would watch the original over this one. To me, it's just a happier movie. We are doing a Christmas Story Christmas, which, just to start off, takes place with Ralphie approaching his 40s, an unsuccessful writer. Do they ever say what he does for work before that? I don't think they do.
No, they just, it starts off with he's taken that year off to write the plan. If he can't get it published by Christmas or the end of the year, really.
Which is such an arbitrary, like, one thing I do really like in this movie is the relationship between him and his wife.
She's
like, you even have that part at the end where she's like, a year's really not a lot of time to write a book.
Take a little longer, yeah.
And like, so yeah, like that is one of the, because you see a lot of times there's always a part in a movie where the family kind of turns on the guy. You see it in Christmas Vacation to an extent. The original Christmas Story, not so much because the old man was always a grouch. So it's kind of like par for the course. But like, I was happy to see that there wasn't that, like, I fucked up so bad my family's turned on me.
Even though he did fuck up, it wasn't anything where everybody hated him for it.
Yeah, I mean, his fuck ups were innocent too. It wasn't like, it was like, oh shit, they stole all our gifts. Fuck.
It was.
I got to break into the bar to get the star because our star died because I put my foot in my mouth earlier.
I did enjoy how he thought he almost killed his children multiple times.
The dynamic for all the characters is great in this. Like all of the old cast that comes back. I did say, I told Jen like right at the beginning, I was like, bro, his bully's gonna be a cop. Like his bully's gonna be the sheriff, and somehow it's gonna be flipped where the sheriff is gonna be getting him. And then when that happens, I was like, he's going to be taking him home. Like, there was stuff in this movie that was so formulaic, it was very easy to call, though.
It was very predictable, but if you've ever seen the first one, the energy was still there, the same, like you knew his memory, his daydreamings, like everything, they landed perfectly.
Now, that's what I liked about this one is they tried to copy the first movie, but they did it in a way where they didn't copy everything. You know what I mean?
They took the character traits and like his stupid little laugh,
his
younger brother, Ralphie, even though he's rich and in fucking India. I appreciate it. It was very, the whole movie was almost looking for ways to give an homage to the original.
And they didn't take like the same scenes where he stuck his tongue to the pole. They didn't do it again. They did
something much more dangerous.
Yeah. And I like that they did that and throughout the movie.
The sound effects too, because when he thumps on the ground from that, it is like oh, he broke something. Like,
I thought he broke his back or something. Yeah, like the way he hit it, I was like, oh.
But the character interactions are great. You have the formulaic bullies. And as soon as I knew they were going to do the stump thing, which I was waiting for, and I was happy they did the stump snowman. The little kid neighbor next door. Where he pulls out the fucking radiator in the end. You got
Dylan Bumpus.
Dude, when she goes to his door, he's eating, I think, a block of cheese.
Just eating cheese. Just some government cheese. No problem here. Now, this movie does have a sad halo over it, which is the movie starts off where essentially they're prepping for Christmas. It's like the first 5-10 minutes. They're prepping for Christmas.
Wait, before you move there, when the movie starts and they they go into the family, and here's the family, here's the thing. The daughter asks, are we going to decorate? And he says, I'm going to leave it for when your grandparents get here.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you understand why he left it for the grandparents when we get to the point where the information is
Well-
exposed that his father passed away.
Well, not only that, but it shows you that, like, no matter, and it's the same thing that the original Christmas Story showed you, that no matter, like, how hard the old man was, he loved his fucking family.
Mhm.
And, like, so it's nice to see that Ralphie's got 2 of his own kids. He's nearing 40 or is in his 40s. And the relationship with his father and mother is still so good that Christmas isn't Christmas until they're there. It's almost like they wait for he talks about how the grandparents come into Chicago every
Yeah.
year, and they wait until Grandpa and Grandma get there to start Christmas, really. And, so it is nice that it does show that, like, it's not, there's so many movies out there that would have gone to, like, well, I haven't seen them in a decade, some weird shit like that.
Yeah.
And they did try
They
to keep it
also-
all about the happiness of, like, the family unit.
The really cool thing is that the father, he says that his father was the embodiment of Christmas in their family. No, even though he was hard on him,
Mhm.
that when Christmas came around, that was the one holiday. And I love from the first movie, even though the father isn't there anymore, the way they depict that loss of emotion in the way they're celebrating their Christmas is done really well.
I gotta be honest, the story about the old man got me.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I was like,
I was
fuck.
working
I knew it was gonna
And
happen.
tearing up. Like,
As soon as he started writing the obituary and it's like it just flowed out, blah blah blah, I was like, okay. And once again, it goes back to the relationship between him and his wife. His wife reads it and is like, fuck, this is I'm gonna send it. Like
This is your best writing you've
100%
done.
supportive of him.
So this one for me, it was a little hard to watch because of that storyline, because of that part of the movie. Like we've discussed so far with this one, the Ralphie's father, although he was hard and he instilled, not a sense of fear in the kids, but just,
It was-
respect from them.
Yeah, it was almost
He-
like he's the alpha in the family.
Yeah.
You know?
You could always rely on their dad to come through for Christmas and to do Christmas how Christmas in the eyes of a kid should be. And the reason why it was hard for me particularly was because that's exactly who my father was. I could remember a time shortly after he had his stroke where, I was helping get some of their financial stuff in order, and he was sitting down with a bank teller around Christmas time, and he specifically, was trying to get a savings or something together, and his exact words to the personal banker were, Christmas is coming up and I need to make sure that my kids are taken care of. And then the scene towards the end when it's Christmas morning and they're like, sorry kids, this is all we have. And then they come out and there's, tons of gifts under the tree. And then his mom is like, I went down to the basement and, found all these gifts that your father had left, like he was prepared.
So
And like
wait,
that,
I do have a question about that. That he didn't buy those, that was the mother, right?
I guess he had bought
no,
them
no.
all before.
The grandfather was
Throughout the
shopping
year.
ahead of.
But that's
Yeah,
what they
ahead
that's
of
what they
time.
said, but I thought the whole concept was she went out and got them.
She
And it was
didn't
she
have
was
very much
telling
money
them.
either. It seemed like she didn't have much money either because
See, I
they said
don't-
they pulled their money together for the second round.
See, I took it as like she went out and got him again, but because I know they told the kids, and that was her story she was spinning, was, oh, Grandpa saved the day in the end. But I thought that was just the cover of it, and the concept was she went out and got all of them, and she just said it was from, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'd like to
don't know.
believe that it was
no,
the
it's-
father.
Yeah, it was the
I
father
think-
because she said she found them when she went downstairs.
I know she said that, but like,
But that's a place that she never really went to, the basement. It was always the father.
I'll
Yeah,
have to,
remember-
I'll have to
yeah, she
rewatch
never
that
went
part
down
again
there.
because I could have swore there was like nods between Ralphie and her, where it was kind of
Now
like
that
an
you say that-
understanding of like, thanks, mom, like you saved our ass. Like that, I
Now
thought
that
I
you
thought it
say
was
that-
her who bought him.
When did the power go out? Was it at the end, right before the night before?
No, it was Christmas Eve after everything closed, after he stole the star.
That's what. No, is that when the power went out?
Yeah.
Because he goes, I'll go downstairs to change the fuse. She goes, no. She goes, I got it. I have
Yeah,
to
because
learn to
she's
do
like,
this
I have to
sometime."
learn to do this by myself.
So with that being said, what did she have all the presents down there that she knew, or she knew the presents were down there? I don't know.
See, that's the thing is, I took it as like after the shit got stolen, she went out and bought everything and wrapped everything and was just trying to make it magical for them one last time from the old man. Like I'll have to watch it again because maybe I'm wrong, but I took it as like
Well, then-
between the like nods between Ralphie and the mother, and it was kind of like thanks, mom. Like it was kind of like we know this wasn't dad, but thank you, we love you.
If you're watching
Maybe-
this on demand on, video.
If it isn't
the
copywritten
VOD.
striking by Universal fucking
Yeah.
Pictures.
No, if you're watching the VOD of this, let us know what your takes on it are. Do you think it was the mom or, the dad before he passed?
I think
who
it was
did
the dad because
Or
when
do
he's monologuing, he says, Dad, you came around again. And if he knew that the mom did it, monologuing to us, the audience watching the movie.
Right.
See, now
It
this is
wouldn't make no
bothering me.
sense.
You guys continue. I'm gonna Google
But
it. real
here's
quick just to
here's
see.
here's what I want to say too is, what if she did? Oh, God damn it! I just got lost in that. What if she was doing it for Ralphie to make his last Christmas about his dad special? That's what she didn't do it for the kids. Really, she did it for Ralphie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like my whole thing was like I thought it was her who did it to make sure that like this being the first Christmas without the old man, he was still there somehow, and there was an opportunity.
I don't know. That's a lot of money for a newly
Yeah, because
widowed
she still has to deal with the
woman
bill.
to-
Yeah, the bill of his
yeah
death and
to
everything.
have to spend money on. I don't know. I'd like to believe that it was the father who made a Christmas miracle for them.
Yeah, I think it was him. And it also makes sense with the first story with the BB gun.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I had thought too.
Well, see, I do like, and that was actually I had a point about that was like this. If this was in the 40s, presumably his father was a soldier. They don't talk about
I would
it,
think so.
but
Yeah.
you would assume he fought. So the fact that he was a little rougher is only exemplified by the fact of how much he loved him, with the idea of like he was the one that got the Red Ryder, which means it wasn't just a situation of the mother goes out and gets the gifts. Or if it was, then that at least shows that him and the wife communicated well. Because for him to know that Ralphie really wanted that, he either had to have been listening to Ralphie, even though every time he acted like he was listening to or reading his newspaper, he either had to actually be listening to Ralphie, or he had to have conversations with the mother where the mother was like, he wants this, but there's no way. Which means the old man wasn't just some like rough piece of shit. Like he cared enough about his family to even listen, which is another really, a big character thing that people don't talk about. I'm trying to find an answer, but I don't think any other assholes have had this question.
Nah, I'd like to also think that the father did it because he came up with the gifts that the kids really wanted, and I have that situation with my godson where his grandparents buy everything on his list before I can get a chance to see it. So I have to actually just buy him a fucking Xbox gift card because he's got everything else by his grandparents.
How did the old man know what they wanted?
Because they had always been talking about it because he was like Ralphie. The kids are like Ralphie.
But they hadn't
Always saying
seen
they
him
want
since
this, they want
Easter.
that. Well, they got that green emerald green phone that they talked to on. Remember that they were making he made a big thing about that too, saying about the phone.
I don't know.
They talk after 7. It's less minutes.
Did you guys also realize how they set up the movie? Which was actually really clever. They set it up to where this isn't so much a sequel to Christmas Story as it is when he goes to read the obituary, it's the first
Yes.
movie.
Yes, so what he wrote in the obituary is the entire first movie.
Yeah, which I find really neat. Like the way they set it
Yeah,
up.
it's
You know, this
great.
movie ends. This movie doesn't so much end as it continues, and the first movie is him telling the obituary of the story he wrote about his father,
Also,
which
if
I
you
think is
watch
the clever thing to do.
If you watch the credits, they show you a picture of what happened in the first one, and they show you how they recreated it, but didn't make it the same. They show you an image from the second movie, and they did that a couple times throughout the credits, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, there was.
I'm glad you bring that up. The flashbacks in this movie were not placed incorrectly. They did their job. They were there, and then they went.
They were done basically to highlight the fact that no, this is Christmas Story. This is the same universe. These are the same people. There were times when
from Marshall Fields.
Yeah, with the window that Jimby's.
No, when he tries to bribe him with the cookies, and he puts it in the desk like the teacher put the apple, or the chattering teeth.
He's got a fucking envelope full of money. And then the Santa Claus, as they go up to see Santa, and he's like, "Don't let him step on your face." Like that whole thing made me laugh. Now I really enjoyed this. I think there was a couple times when I had to look over at Jen and be like, "You good?" Because I think it affects everybody who's lost a parent or a close loved one in the same way. And I think part of it is it's a fairly it's a pretty good portrayal of grief for what it does. It doesn't portray a ton, like it's there, but it really comes out when he's writing the story. And that's one of the things where the idea of him writing it down, and they show the scene where he's like wiping his eyes, and it's like, okay, the mother or the grandmother almost kind of being in shock from it all still, and like just boozing herself up, while they're
she
there.
was a drinker.
Which is another reason I wonder if that's like her by her buying those gifts, she's snapping out of it. She's accepting he's gone, and he's gone, but he's not forgotten. Therefore, she's gonna make sure he's remembered. I'm still gonna stick with, I think she bought the gifts. Like, I understand what you guys are saying, and I do understand, and I will have to watch that scene specifically again, because for me, I feel like a lot of it was in like them looking at each other and the head nod of it being kind of like clear that she did this. How, but I might be wrong, because you are correct in saying like she really doesn't have a whole lot of money. Like, her husband just died, they got to pay for the funeral, blah blah blah. I get that. But I don't know.
I thought that way too, Matt, until he monologued to us, the audience watching, about the father.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the point of telling us, the audience?
But he's telling a story, though. If it's a Christmas story, right? And you got to think in the idea of, like, maybe this movie is the story of how Grandpa saved Christmas one last time. He would be telling the story to the kids as in Grandpa really did buy the gift. Like, I know it's going kind of fucking meta, basically, is what I'm doing here, but I don't know. I'll have to rewatch those scenes specifically, but I could have swore it was like a, like head nod of like, thanks, Mom. Like, I think there was even a thing where he's like, thanks, Mom. I fucking swear I remember that, but I'll have to rewatch it. I might be wrong. But this movie does tap into the sadness of grief.
It does.
The idea of he doesn't sit in his old man's chair until the very end when he's going to, read the obituary.
He hesitates too for a
second.
second.
He kind of looks at it like he's gone. And I think that's a big element in this movie is these characters, including the children, kind of like learning to live with the grief and understanding that unfortunately Grandpa's gone. Like he'll always be part of Christmas, but he's no longer here, and I think it takes Ralphie until the end when he's writing the obituary to really allow himself to grieve properly. I think his whole writing of the story is his grieving process that he didn't, because if you really like watch his character throughout the movie, there isn't a whole lot of like, there's no, sad breakdowns. There's not a whole lot of grief from him other than like, my dad had died. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then at that moment when he's writing it and he kind of lets himself feel it, you see it.
Well, I'm really glad.
Sorry,
I'm really glad that you mentioned that, just because there is a lot going on for Ralphie that he just has to kind of push to the side because it's this whole, hey, your dad's gone, you've got to make Christmas great for everyone. On top of the fact that he is a struggling writer trying to get a book published, he now has to handle, his arrangements for his father, including writing the obituary, on top of making sure that Christmas gifts are bought, and then, doing Christmas the way that, they traditionally do Christmas. It's
Yeah.
like it's a lot, and he doesn't have a chance to, to let everything kind of soak in, and, for him to get himself together. And
Well, he does all this while going through his own existential crisis.
And
yeah.
I think Jen said it best. He didn't have time. And to Matt's point, that conversation him and his mom have where he's like, I'm not a writer. And she's like, write the damn obituary or don't. I think that was more of a conversation is you need time to process this.
Yeah.
So we can make sure it's great for the kids. I think that was the underlying concept of that conversation.
Yeah, I also think the mother out of all of them has the most grounded perspective of like, he's gone. Like, if you notice, she doesn't have a whole lot of tendencies in this movie to be like,
She doesn't.
oh, this is what he used to do. And it's all Ralphie that's experiencing the sort of memories when he goes up in the attic. He sees the BB gun and the pink suit.
The hat.
It's him sort of running through his grief. At this point, it's almost like the mother has gone through that. And she's just, or maybe she hasn't yet. But I get the feeling that the mom is already kind of accepted.
Yeah.
Like, my husband's gone. I need to figure out my life now. He does. Yeah. It depends. I mean, I think if you've lost a loved one, it'll hit you a little harder. There's some touching moments when they start talking about the father, especially if you're a fan of the original. And if you've watched that movie a bunch, you'll be so familiar with the character, you'll be saddened by it.
Fabian
But there
says,
are still-
"Damn, I'm gonna cry if I watched his, aren't I?"
Yeah,
There-
you are.
There also are some really funny moments, like between the main characters from the original, where they're older, they're in a
Schwartz
bar. Flick has an ongoing bar tab, and to
Did you
get
see
rid of
his
that
tab?
bar tab,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
ridiculous. And to get rid of that bar tab, they go sledding, if you want to call it that, down a very unsafe, I wouldn't even call it a slide, but
No, that was
No,
not a
well,
slide.
it was an old military installation. Like, they were
Yeah.
doing experiments, and that's what was left over.
That was I think a launch tester for like
Yeah.
explosives.
Yeah, it was like some military experimental shit. Well, not to mention, I think one of my favorite parts of this movie is when he comes to, what's his name, Buzz, his old bully, and he's the cop.
Scut Farkas.
Stud.
And
Yeah.
Scott, yeah,
Scut.
Buzz is Home
It's a
Alone.
weird fucking name, Scut.
And what's a hillbilly name? Fucking gingers. And I don't know, I really like that scene because it is pivotal
His voice
for.
sounds fake as fuck, though.
Well,
Just
Ralphie's voice is surprisingly deep, and he's talking like that actor.
When he's screaming.
I think that is his voice, though.
It is, but it just sounds fake as fuck.
That's why he got cast in the Postal movie. He sounds like Postal Dude. But Ralphie only looked at that interaction between him and his old bully from his side, and then he tells him like, it was you that made me kind of rethink what the fuck I was doing. Like, you beat my ass, and then I started to realize like, what the hell? And the whole thing when he's like, look at me now, I'm a good guy. Not to mention he looks so badass in that leather jacket.
And he
That
says
was
his
a
kid-
cool cop leather jacket.
And he says that his kids are his worst. They're worse.
Yeah,
than
he's
he
like, they're
was.
nightmares. And it's like,
Well,
it is nice to see the old bully that in the original was portrayed as this monster be like a real human and understand, like, even as an adult, I've made mistakes, namely in raising my children.
It's funny because Scott kind of gets Ralphie in the end there because he's like, hey, just remember, if somebody else found you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be
You
in
would
jail
spend
all
the
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah, and he's right. I mean, and I know they were trying to portray it at first, like, oh, where is he taking me? But it's like, come on. We all know what's going to happen here. He's going to take you home.
Yeah.
I did appreciate them. It went exactly where I thought it was, and I wasn't disappointed by that. A lot of times, if I call out something in a movie, I'm generally like, what the fuck? But I wanted that to be the equation. I wanted there to be that kind of role reversal / like, hey, nah, man, we're good. Like, you actually changed my life. And it's, and then I did find the ending when he gets, like, when they want to publish his story, and it's like, I did it. It's like, you did what? You got published in a local paper. Where's the money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm the wife at that point, I'm like,
yeah,
you
they
did
did
it,
say
sweetie.
it was going to be syndicated.
But what does that mean in the 70s? I don't know what that means as far as, like, revenue. Like, does he just become a story writer for newspapers, or, like, what are they talking about?
He's gonna generate revenue from every place that puts that out in their papers. So he's gonna get multiple checks and shit.
I would have liked to understand a little bit clearer. Like, I would have maybe like a fast forward scene where it hits
Like
him signing a novel, and then like he closes it and it's the Christmas story. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
I took it more as like that scene was just there to vindicate that he's a writer now. Like, he wanted to be a writer. Like, his dad bought him his first typewriter when he went up in the attic.
I just felt it was a little shoehorned because it goes from like desperation to like, we've made it. And it's like, well, you had one story published.
Even when they celebrated, the kids came in like, what's happening? And there was no like,
oh, you got your story published in your shithole fucking.
They're like, oh, let's go read it.
Newspaper.
Yeah, let's go read it over here in the corner.
16 miles south of Gary, Indiana. You know, you got it published. Good for you.
This movie is predictable. You'll appreciate it more though if you've seen the first one. And to Matt's point,
I'd argue
everything's a
reward
in this movie.
Like, if you haven't seen the first one, you should definitely watch it beforehand.
Yeah.
It'd be like watching the Matrix 1 or 2 without watching Matrix 1.
So since we're talking about, if you haven't seen the first one, obviously watch it. Has anyone here seen the second Christmas Story?
With Randy Quaid? No, I have not.
I have, and I hate it, and I never watched it again, and that doesn't exist.
It looks terrible. Yeah. I like how this one basically doesn't acknowledge it either.
Yep.
Like, that shit never happened.
That was I was really worried.
It had
about
nothing
that.
to do with the family, right? The second one.
I think it was a different family entirely.
It was just like trying to duplicate it.
Also,
literally.
Was that the one where they end up going to like a beach or a resort or something? I don't know. They basically they hired Randy Quaid because they're like, you were in a Christmas classic movie. You want to star in the next classic?
Well, no, it still does have to do with the same family. It's just 5 years later, and apparently Ralphie wants a car, and it goes into like that whole storyline.
So they completely ignored it and made it not canon. Good. Yeah,
it would be funny though if the car that he has in A Christmas Story Christmas was the car that he got from A Christmas Story 2.
I do like the putting the egg in the radiator trick.
Yeah,
it worked depending on the size of the crack or the leak.
I loved how his daughter got him a radiator.
Yeah. A radiator? It's all from the fucking hillbilly junk pile next door.
And then when she's whispering in Santa's ear, and he's like, the elf lets go. What'd she ask you? He's like, for a radiator. Like,
1964, blah blah blah.
Presumably, they're all moving into the house, right? Like they're leaving Chicago and moving back home to the house.
I don't think so.
Because wasn't that the whole thing? Is like he was going to stay in town and write.
And I know he was just there to make sure his mom was okay.
No, but once again, I'm remembering. I can't remember exactly what, but I feel like there was dialogue talking about, like, because Jen and I even openly talked to each other, like, well, there's nothing really keeping them in Chicago. So I got the feeling that they were coming, they were, at the minimum, were coming back to the hometown.
Speaking of Chicago, did you see that scene when they backed out and they showed Navy Pier? No fucking, like, all the old new buildings are gone too.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like how it looked back in the 70s.
And that's, I mean, if you ever want to see Navy Pier, for what Navy Pier looked like before they built it up, go watch Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's actually a scene where they drive down Navy Pier when it was literally just a pier, and they go all the way back to the garages and everything that are back there, and it's just a pier. There's no Ferris wheel, nothing. It's a shithole without all that stuff, but
there's nothing over there, man. Like,
nothing. It's water and suicidal thoughts. All right, you guys ready for the hot dog? Jen, you got anything you've been a little quiet? Anything you wanted to say that you haven't?
No, I've said everything.
Good. Shut up. All right. I'm gonna give this. I'll go 3.5. I enjoyed it. There's really no reason. Well, I'll go 4. I liked it. I don't know. I definitely don't regard it as highly as the original, but I do enjoy it. So there's that. Yeah, easy 4 for me. I think this is one of those ones where you can easily add it another. I mean, I think watching them back to back in either order would be, maybe watch this one first. Maybe if your kids have never seen A Christmas Story, you show them this one first, and then you go, now they're going to tell the story, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like did you have questions about the grandpa? Yeah, well, we're going to find out. I would personally probably do them in chronological order.
This is a 4.5. It's a little higher for me. I really enjoyed it. I will put this in our rotation, but to Matt's point, you have to watch both. Also,
Yeah,
to Matt's point,
package deal.
the way they wrote it, you can watch either one first.
Yeah, because I mean, even if your kids have questions, you can be like, okay, well, here's the story. Like, if your kids go, what was the story he was going to tell? I was like, well, we're going to watch the story. This is the story he's telling. This is the story of his grandfather and a specific Christmas when he got his red, Yeah, I mean, 4.5, I understand that. Alex?
For me, this is a straight 4. I did like that they tried to recreate Christmas Story for the first one, but they didn't actually duplicate it. I like that they took some of the parts and made it their own little thing. They changed it a little bit. I did like that they brought back some of the old characters. So they brought back Flick and Schwartz. Flick owning a bar now, Schwartz with the fucking bar tab. The first thing he thinks about when he fucking takes his back on the ground is my beer tab clean now?
Yeah.
And then he
immediately starts another one. Yeah, immediately starts another tab.
They had fucking Scott Farkas, which, like I said, like his voice was just not. It was so weird, but I like.
It is his voice though is the weirdest thing. It's like his voice is almost like he is the archetypal, like, I'm a G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? It's a weird voice.
They even had fucking what's his name in it too, the one that plays his little sidekick. He's there when he's doing
for like a split, just for the like kind of daydream.
He doesn't have no words or nothing, but he laughs and punches him, and he gets punched back.
Which I guess, what else could you, I mean, it was a nice throwback. Yeah,
I liked all the throwbacks, and me, I this was another movie that I got. A Christmas Story was another movie I got during Christmas time, with The Crow, and I watched them back to back even before TNT was doing them 24 hours a day.
Yes, my favorite Christmas movies: Christmas Story, The Crow. Fuck.
Those were 2 movies that I got during Christmas time. So
yeah, my favorite Christmas movie is Terminator 2, by the way. Jen and my mother used the original against me because, as we all know, I actually did get shot in the eye with an airsoft BB. I was hit in the cornea. It scratched the cornea, bruised the inner eye. I had to wear an eye patch for a couple weeks. So my mom thought it was funny to every year say, "You're gonna watch the movie," and then Jen has continued that trend.
So is that why your mom fucking had me get the box for you? The Christmas Story with the cookie cutters and everything?
Probably, yeah. She always got a kick out of it.
She made me. She goes, Alex, can you put it on the side for me? I'll be coming in there to get it for. I was like, okay.
Yeah, she always got a kick out of the idea that there was a movie that said you'll shoot your eye out, and then I almost shot. Oh, I didn't. I almost got my eye shot out.
The last thing I want to say too is about the daughter with the eye patch. I like that the kids fucking decorated the eye patch.
Not only that, but the scene where they do the flashback and she still got the fucked up, or the flash forward, and she got the fucked up Google eye and she's pregnant. That shit was great.
Oh, so funny. And even the son, the father's like, "Why do you talk like that?"
Yeah, he's the British punk wave. You said 4, right, Alex?
I said 4.
Yennefer?
I'm gonna go with Giovanni and give it a 4.5. I mean, the original, it's hands down a 5 for me. This one, 4.5. I would definitely watch it, every year around Christmas time. And so with what Matt was saying about how his mom and I would troll him essentially about getting his eye shot at, I would one up his mom just joking, "Hey, you're gonna watch it?" And I would get him little memorabilia that specifically says "You'll shoot your eye out," just to throw that at him. but no, it is a really good kind of follow up to, you know, what happened to Ralphie and
I'm pretty
his
sure
family.
my mom went to Blockbuster to buy it. But do you remember like DVDs? They used to have those like the paper covers that would have that like little clip fold thing. I remember her giving me that version of the DVD for Christmas one year and just laughed as I opened it. She's like, I'm like, yeah, very funny.
Fabian says, so true. I was there for that. He was talking
Yeah.
about you getting your eyes shot.
Yeah, he was. It wasn't a Christmas story at all. It was in the summer and it was hot and I took my glasses off because I didn't want to get them broke. Broke my eye instead.
The leg lamp from the first movie. We have the ornament on our tree, and I have the
Done.
actual lamp.
So I was just looking at Amazon at lamps, and they have a desk lamp for like $40 I was considering. But they also have a double pack Ralphie ornament for like 15, and it's the lamp and Ralphie in the pig suit. I was considering those
I
as
did
well.
like how when Ralphie was in the attic as he was going through everything up there, they did show the lampshade from the lamp.
Not only
Just
the
the
lamp,
shade, yeah, because the leg's gone.
I like the
Yeah.
lampshade. I like this. I liked all the fan service there.
bowling
So the
ball?
bunny suit, the bowling ball.
the
They show
bunny suit, yep.
they show the BB gun.
Yep.
Like all of the shit they did to make you connected to the original. Like if you were a fan, I thought worked well. What's up?
They still got the
Don?
ugly tree.
Yes,
Same
which
decoration.
they end up pitch, and then he of course does the classic. Let's fuck the ceiling up with the Christmas tree. He thinks he's that whole scene where he thinks he's negotiating. Shows that he's just as clueless as his old man was in certain things. Which is, you know, it really is. If you're gonna do a sequel to a beloved movie, this is the way to go. You give it the right amount of fan service, give it the right amount of homage material, make it funny, make it heartwarming. I think, you know, that's kind of what I like about Christmas movies is there's always that conflict and there's always a resolution, and it's always the resolution as the family comes together closer. Any Christmas movie you can think of, Four Christmases, Deck the Halls, Fred Claus, the Santa Claus, all three of them, specifically the first one, Lethal Weapon, as we talked about. Like every Christmas movie, I think the reason why people love them is because usually they've got at least some humor in it, and usually there are scenes designed to kind of hit you in the heart. And once again, you know, this movie, if you have a dead family member, it'll hit you a little harder. It's one of those things of like, if you know the pain of going through the first holiday after losing a beloved loved one, you will understand and more than likely react to the pain that these characters show, at least when they do show them. The World Cup is crazy. The Netherlands bit the bullet yesterday. Ha!
Who did they lose to? I heard Croatia won.
I don't know. Ever since the U.S. has been knocked out, I stopped caring. That bad? I mean, I don't watch any sports really. I'd rather watch some dude with a GoPro work at McDonald's for 10 this point than watch a fucking football game. I used to be big into that shit, and it's just like, ugh. I just can't wait
An
till
NFL football game or a soccer football game?
both.
Okay.
I mean, I personally can't wait until Brittany Grenier gets back to the WNBA because that's all I watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll be the
So,
only two people then.
three. There's three of us.
Well, her family and you.
Well, I'm not even going to go into that. My next podcast.
I hear that their viewership is not that big either, though.
Well, no, it's not. And and it's like you hear these statements, although we don't want to be paid the same as them, we want to be paid the same percentage. And it's like, but then you open up the issue of you're going to say you're a higher ranked player in the WNBA, so you should be making more money than the lower ranked players, and it's all fuck. Just
Why can't they just do the communist formula and just pay everybody the same amount to play?
well, everybody gets $50,000. And all of you that are now that we're making $250,000. Now you're down to 50.
If you get sponsorship or if you get fucking any shit like that on the side, that's your money.
Well, it's the same argument as the women's soccer team made, and it's not the same.
I'm talking about for even male sports too. You make X amount of dollars for everybody in the sport, and then whatever you get from your fucking your sponsors and
It doesn't work that way because of incentives to play for teams. That's the problem with the WNBA. is nobody cares enough about it to where nobody's going to pay a ton.
They don't have the incentives.
They're not going to
yeah.
pay a ton of money to incentivize somebody to come over and play for them because nobody gives a fuck. LeBron James makes the money he makes by contract per year because his playing puts asses in seats. His playing gets TV viewership. Now, I'm not saying every basketball player is LeBron James, but I'm going to argue that league minimum is probably $250,000, $300,000 for the, which is what Grenier is making. My thing is you know, they everybody likes to throw out this shit, and it's like, where are your numbers? You want the same percentage? The WNBA lost money the past 5 years in a row. You want a percentage of loss?
Do you think that athletes should be paid as much as they're being paid?
I mean, the problem with that is that's free market. Who am I to tell a company what they can pay their employee?
Like NFL, they're
I don't
considered
necessarily.
what?
I don't think anybody should be making $40 million a year playing a game. But if that person, in part, helps generate $1 billion of revenue, who am I to say a company can't pay that employee that amount of money?
But like the NFL, they're like tax exempt right now.
I don't think they should be tax exempt. No.
Yeah.
I don't think
For
churches
the
should be
amount of money
tax
that
exempt either.
For the amount of
Not
money
at
that they
all.
make. No, none of them should be.
I think Joel Osteen should be losing half of his fucking houses. Frankly. But the problem with that is I also feel taxation is theft in general. I just feel like if we're all paying, you motherfuckers should too.
Yeah.
Including guys like, you know, Donald Trump, who, yeah, they got legal loopholes that get them less taxation, sure. Still not necessarily morally right.
Speaking of Joel Osteen, when is Righteous Gems or Gemstones coming back?
I don't know. I feel like those shows go off and you basically just wait until you're graced by their presence again.
Dude, that's such an amazing show.
Well, so is Vice Principals. I love that one. I mean, all of
Yeah.
those ones. Walton Goggins doesn't do a bad show. Doesn't do a bad product, really. I mean, look at Fat Man. Pretty sure it's football and F1 drivers that make the most money for being a professional athlete. But once again, like if a soccer player, you know, but that's also the argument the women's leagues are making is the same argument that a low-level player can make. A low-level player can say, why am I not getting paid the same as Ronaldo? I'm on the team. And it's like, well, Ronaldo brings in seats. Ronaldo brings in sponsorship. Ronaldo brings in millions upon millions of dollars for the league. You don't.
Also, is driving a sport?
Yeah.
Or is it an activity?
Oh, I'd argue F1.
I'd say it's a sport.
F1, you have to be athletic to drive.
Watch
F1.
the documentary. It'll change your
It's
mind.
also pretty dangerous too.
Yeah.
Well, besides the danger, your body is pulling significant G's. When no F1, there's no fat F1 drivers. I'll put it that way. I mean, there just isn't. These guys are going through
The training they have to go through to keep from passing out is insane.
like I would say absolutely an F1. Maybe not a NASCAR. NASCAR is more of an endurance the way I look at it. Like F1 is
Endurance and patience.
F1 is a triathlon, and it's hard hitting or a mud run. Your body's being constantly abused. NASCAR is more of an endurance. You're gonna piss yourself. You're there for 3 hours. Like I would absolutely say, they're athletes. I mean, I don't know. I mean, technically, racing is it a? I don't know. What do they? I mean, racing is a sport, is it not?
It is considered a sport.
I mean, it's
but
probably on the loose
I'm in that
grounds
same
of what a
vein.
sport is.
I
though.
think F1 is more of a sport than NASCAR.
Yeah. I mean, but whatever they turn into games, American Gladiators.
We're getting that shit in the summer, aren't we? here in
American
Chicago?
Gladiator was badass when it started.
NASCAR?
I would love to be able to afford tickets to that.
It's fucking. I remember we looked at the prices.
Yeah, I'll
That shit's
instead just
fucking
watch
crazy.
some asshole's
Those are
drone footage
crazy.
on YouTube of it. I'll watch the official and the drone footage. I'll get some 4K crystal clear fucking view of it for free. Some dickhead just in the city, just oh my god. Jen, you gave 4.5, right?
Correct.
So official. All right, everybody. Any
Don't
last?
forget to. I was just gonna say, don't forget to like the video, and follow or subscribe to the Nerdattude Entertainment channel. Also, if you're in the Cleveland, Ohio area and you would like to visit the Christmas Story House, you can actually stay there overnight. There is availability for Christmas Eve if you're looking to, splurge.
I just
you
want
can
to point out,
spend-
I don't know why Jen is
How much?
hawking an overnight stay at the fucking house. We are not affiliated in any way with this fucking house in Cleveland. I don't get what we're doing here right now, but please continue.
You can stay there over Christmas.
For
Easter.
$99.95, you could book it right now. You sleep in Ralphie's bed.
You could have a $79 fuck fest.
There's no weave in that pool filter.
No.
All right, everybody. We will be next week. We'll be back with more shenanigans. I can't tell you what we're fucking reviewing because I don't know. We're going to figure that out after this episode. And then the 23rd, we'll be going over the Santa Claus series that is releasing on Disney Plus, as well as giving a score, maybe not a full review, but a score to Santa Claus 3, because it's the only one we haven't reviewed. And then our New Year's Eve, technically New Year's Eve episode, we are going to be doing Guilty Pleasure movies. So I am doing McHale's Navy. Lewis is doing Congo. Giovanni...
Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario, yeah, we will be doing. If you guys want to follow along on some of these, Super Mario Brothers, the original, it is the director's Redux that they released on YouTube. They found the footage. That is the one we will be reviewing if you want to watch it ahead of time, so you're in the know with us. And then
I think I'm going to go with Gleaming the Cube.
Gleaming the Cube.
It's on Prime.
I don't know what the fuck that is, so I'll have to look into it.
It's a skateboarding movie.
What's up with you and skateboarding? You grind, Gleaming the Cube, Roller Boys and the weird fuckers, the Corys.
That was roller blades.
The
That
weird
was roller
fuckers.
skates.
Skate or die. You remember that game for Nintendo? Skate
Yeah,
or just fucking hard as balls.
it was. Holy shit.
But yeah, so our New Year's episode, we're not going to be doing
Didn't choose
Christmas
Peggy.
movies on that one. It's going to be Guilty Pleasure. Jen will be choosing one. I believe she doesn't have a choice yet, but we'll be
She
doing
did
those.
say, but I guess you're not accepting.
She's
it.
not. I'll accept it if that's what she actually wants. But the problem is like that better be what you actually fucking like. The problem is she's choosing it just to troll me.
It better be a guilty pleasure.
She's not.
Yeah.
She's not fucking choosing it because she loves that fucking movie. You want to know how I know she doesn't love that fucking movie? Because we've owned it for like 2 years, and she's
nobody's
only
watched it?
she's only fucking put it on to fall asleep to. I think she's never actually fucking watched it. So don't tell me it's a guilty pleasure movie. RoboCop is a guilty pleasure movie.
I thought the laughter she was doing
RoboCop
right
is
now
a
was the
guilty pleasure.
giveaway. The laugh that's coming from her is the giveaway.
Nah, she's just trolling me. I'm gonna remove access to her to all movies on the Vudu except for fucking On the Line since she loves it so much. I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. I'll put parental locks on everything except for that movie for her. You'll have to log into some password that's nothing but digits and random symbols. But yeah, next week we will be back. We'll let you know for what. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do because we've run through so many Christmas movies at this point.
Why don't we do the rift on Christmas trailers?
Or class.
No Universal trailers. Choosing trailers. No Universal trailers. Fuck Universal movie pictures.
That's ridiculous.
They can go to hell and die. I literally removed the episodes and told them that they were a greedy company, and it was ridiculous that out of all the movie trailers we've watched, that the only ones to stick to the dispute and then deny my appeal was Universal Pictures. And then
that is true of them.
the
And you're
greedy
promoting them too.
the greedy fucks then on the one episode literally tried to copyright strike 3 minutes of footage when we only played 20 seconds of it. Literally, they are copywriting or trying to copyright footage where the trailer isn't playing and we're paused talking about said trailer. They're trying to copyright the image in the fucking background. That's how greedy these pieces of shit are, this Universal Movies company.
I don't know if you saw Angry Joe's reviews on the Halo show. And
Couldn't
the
do
shit
anything
he
with
had
it,
to
yeah.
go through with
He kept getting
dude, it was
demonetized and copyright struck.
insane.
Yeah. And it's like here and YouTube threatens you when you want to appeal when you do the appeal and then they reject the appeal, you have to do another appeal. And YouTube basically is like, well, if you appeal this and they still find it to be they're correct, we're going to do a review, and if we agree with them, we're going to copyright strike you. And it's like, by your own rules,
Yep.
there is something called fair use. And what fair use is when you're using material to comment on it, to react to it, and so you cannot redistribute it. How the fuck am I going to resell a movie trailer for one thing, but not only that, a movie trailer with 4 assholes on the screen with it? How is that not transformative? I'm so tired of these fucking strikes I got to deal with because of greed. Because of greed.
No, Matt was
the entire trailer either, right?
No, we were jumping around
because I purposely stop it so we can talk about it, and then we don't watch the full trailers because they give away too much.
But Matt didn't. We didn't even watch the full trailer. We were jumping.
And it's the same goddamn company behind Violent Night. So I don't think we'll be reviewing Violent Night on this podcast because I don't want to I'll watch it and I'll write it on Twitter that they could suck my dick, even though I enjoyed it. But fucking Arbor's an asshole too. So fuck him too. But it's just frustrating that it's like literally 30 seconds and then you try to copyright 3 minutes of my fucking video. Like, fuck you. Like, normally I would just trim it out and not deal with it. But the whole thing is if the video is still on your channel is the only way they can copyright strike you. Yeah. So the 2 videos, now that I've appealed them, I've unlisted them. They're in private. So there's nothing for you to pull anyways that doesn't exist on the channel anymore.
That's ridiculous.
And what I'll do is I'll re-release them and cut that whole section out and I'll just maybe I'll do the audio underneath it and just put a sign that says Universal sucks dick.
There was a point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do something that says
the Universal logo getting fucked in the ass by a pig.
There was a point
the Universal logo getting fucked in the ass by a dildo.
Where Angry Joe reviewing Halo flipped the image, put a film over it, fast forward it, and no sound, and he still got fucking copyright struck. It was insane. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And they're talking the whole time like we are. They're talking the whole time. They don't play the full clip in the back. It was like little 10-second clips, and they were still. You're muted.
Well, that's one of the other things is you got to edit your fucking content to try to tiptoe around copyright strikes. Yeah. Try to do under a certain amount of seconds. Try to make sure that if we're watching something, we're on camera with it and it's reactionary and everything. And then, even then, these greedy cocksuckers are just like, nah, you had a monochrome of footage from our fucking movie. And, God damn it, we're promoting it for you.
Yeah, for real.
There's a reason why Black Panther still took #1 and Violent Night didn't. Because you, as much marketing as you threw out, you don't have anybody talking about your movies because nobody fucking cares about your company. And then you pull this shit, which means I'm not going to be talking about your fucking movies anymore. All you're doing is removing marketing resources. And it's like, well, that's your fucking decision. When your movie flops, you have no one but to blame but your own goddamn greed. And I'm just sick of it. It's like, there's nobody promoting your movie besides content creators and the fucking shitty airtime you buy on whatever streaming service it's fucking being advertised on. That's it.
It's like that saying, there's no fucking such thing as bad publicity. Anybody that says anything about you is going to generate some kind of,
which is insane because content creators, that's free publicity.
Not to mention it's a fucking trailer. I'm not over here showing a clip from the movie. Yeah. I'm showing the fucking trailer that is everywhere.
Which is supposed to be out there to generate people to come watch it.
And I wrote that in the thing too. I go, you realize that I'm literally promoting your product and you're striking my channel for it. And I told him, I go, this is nothing but greed. You're the only fucking studio company that has kept this up, and I've been copyright struck by other ones, but then I appeal it, and somebody with a goddamn brain in that company reads it and goes, yeah, you know what, this is fair use, you're right. And they fucking remove the copyright strike. I got the goddamn copyright strike removed from the Willy Wonka trailer, which actually does use the goddamn song from the movie in it. And they still were like, you know what? You changed it enough. No problem. We're going to remove it. Yet I can't show 20 seconds of a fucking subpar BJ Novak movie trailer without getting... And then when I appeal it, they go, nah, fuck you. It's still our property. Nah, fuck you, Universal Pictures. I'm done with this shit. I'll remove the video. I'll trim it out. And then I'll keep the audio of us critiquing your trailer. And just put a bag of dicks with one of your heads sucking it. I don't know. Whoever your fucking CEO of your shitty company is, I'll have them getting fucked in the ass by a rhino. Why? Because it's my fucking channel.
Giovanni, send him a bag of dicks.
Yeah, I can send him a bag of dicks.
Yeah, only if it's got 6 pounds of C4 lodged in the testicles. All right, everybody. We will be back next week. Thank you for hanging out with us. As Jen is lovingly saying, if you guys are not subscribed already, please do, as well as if you have not, please like the video. You'd be surprised how much it helps with the algorithm. And I am starting to get to that point where we're chipping away at it. We're starting to get a little bit of progress. We're getting more followers. So it does help out more than you guys know. It is free. And then as well as if you don't already know me and you're interested in game streaming, check out Nerdattude on Twitch. I do game streaming virtually every day except for Monday and Saturday and Sunday. So 4 days a week, usually 2 streams a day, including the podcast here tonight. So also, I feel like a promotion bitch. Go check out the In Nothing We Trust YouTube page. It's In Nothing We Trust on YouTube. Go check it out. Give it a like. We've only got 6 followers on that channel, but we do have the podcast plus the Band of Brothers Watch and Reacts.
Take care, EB.
All right, good night, buddy. You have a wonderful rest of your day. EB is it's literally 6:14 in the morning for you.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
Saturday,
he woke up and
6:14.
we were live. He's in the he's Dutch, so he's 7 hours ahead. So everybody, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. EB, have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys next week for some fun.
Something.
Yeah,
Sweet.
figure it out.
For
Bye.
no Universal trailers.
Yeah, none of those trailers. Yeah, we'll just do anti-Universal. We'll do Universal movie trailers, but just black out the screen and we'll just have the CEO